I'd like to propose you creating a vase for a woven flower. I've thought that a woven vase for a woven flower would be too much. So the task was thinking of a vase created with no weaving. My first idea was an elevated spiral. Here is a second one. Then I tried making one as a composition of rings, after which I decided to try and make rings and derivatives a bit shifted. I've liked the result, so today I'm sharing the idea with you. In order to choose an appropriate base for a vase, I've roamed around my place for quite a while. I've experimented with materials. So finally I've selected these two options that have appealed to me most of all. These vases are created based on one and the same principle. The difference is subtle, so let me tell you about it. So, I found such a novel base for a vase. It is a graduated cup an iron was complete with. You can as well use an empty shampoo bottle, whatever. I've decided to make my base oval-shaped, taken the remainders of tubes not demanded for quite a while, so it's high time to make use of them. I use a long tube. Why? In order to get at least a few layers of wrapping. So what do? I hug a base, cover a tube with cool glue, and perform tight wrapping. This time I've done without moistening, but press the tubes with my fingers thoroughly instead in order to avoid creases. Glue a tail thoroughly. Press it with a closing clip and leave it for a while to dry. Here I've got ready triangles wrapped around this eraser. I've already had an eraser and triangles involved while creating a noteboard. As well, I've made use of this pin box. As a result, I've got this vase created of triangle-shaped elements. I mean, you can use an oval, a rectangle, a triangle, any shape you like as a base. The further process depends on the way we are going to unite these elements. First of all, let me tell you how I've created this vase. In order to get it straight, I've used a foil tube as a base. I put rings onto the tube in such a manner in order to get a tube in the very center. I filled a syringe with the so-called dragon glue, universal polymeric adhesive meant for gluing polystyrene, plastics, foam plastics, wood. It is easier to use dragon from a syringe. Drop glue onto the points of gluing. I've defined them beforehand by trying the parts on. Drop some more glue and put the next layer on. make sure it is laid straight. Well, actually the principle is alternating vertical and horizontal ovals. There's a base inside in order to get a straight hollow. Try your best to avoid shifting left or right, measure by eye. This way we are going to get a vase like this. In order to get a vase with shifting, I've applied a bit different technique. Let me take the structure to pieces before it fastens and show you the way I've made a vase with shifting. Put the ovals on at an angle 45 degrees instead of a right angle. The first oval is horizontal related to me, the second one is 45 related degrees shifted. The following one is 90 degrees shifted related to the first ring and 45 degrees shifted related to the second ring. I mean every time I glue the parts together and shift by 45 degrees, the center is fixed. Just try your best not to forget dropping glue. Beat the rings onto the tube, glue them in the points of connection. As a result, I've got such a twisted spiral. It has appealed to me since you can transform it into a more interesting composition. Take a look, please. You may put flowers not onto the central hollow. Let me take into pieces and show you. The pieces are not fastened anyway. So take a look, please. It consists of many cells, so you can put flowers into them. Well, these are too big. I wish they were a little smaller, but even they can be put inside. You can insert them either here or there or whatever you like, into any available cell. What I mean is this vase provides us with more options of bouquet decorations. You can plant additional leaves into the cells as an option. Normal vases created by regular wrapping lack this opportunity. They are the only hollow in the center and that's all. Unlike those vases, this one gives plenty of opportunities for creativity. That's why I like the idea so much. For some reason, I felt it may be an interesting option to insert a tube not into the center of an oval, but this way instead. An oval adjoining a tube from one side only, and then shifting every next element by 45 degrees. I believed it would make a still more interesting shape with a more expressive spiral. I did experiment with a shape like this, but actually I wouldn't draw your attention to this option. I don't like the result much. The range is too wide. Well, the idea has a right to exist too. However, to my mind, the vases like this with a center in the middle of an oval element look much neater. In the same very way you can work with triangles. One more essential point. In order to make a vase stable, for you to be sure that a heavier bouquet won't drop it, I fastened it with such small pancakes. I've just glued them with the help of dragon glue afterwards. As for this vase, I've added 2 more elements by the sides. Well, actually it's up to you to decide how to make your vase stable. Here I haven't made the bottom stronger yet. While here I've glued an additional pancake to the bottom to prevent flowers from falling through. As for triangles, I haven't glued the elements together yet. Just started shaping the very vase. Here I've used a thinner tube, a fox paper base, if I'm not mistaken. The vase hasn't been fastened yet, I'm just showing you the idea. So I'm putting triangles one onto another with shifting. You can tell how to place the elements following the angles. Make sure your structure is straight enough. Smoothen it if needed. Try your best to direct the ribs straight. So it was my idea of creating vases for woven flowers. Let you enjoy your creativity, imagination, and nice-looking bouquet. May those who get them be happy with their gifts. All the best to you!